Stay Gone from Hazbin Hotel captures the essence of Rivalry perfectly, and here's why. Today, I'll be analysing all of the song in all of its glory. Enjoy! So, we begin just before the songs start, where Vox and Valentino are having an amazing little conversation, some banter between friends, or even more than that. And the way it starts is quite potent in the fact that it drops so much with so little said. Val says,
"You know, Angel isn't the only one spending time at this ratty hotel with the devil's princesa."
And then Vox is confused, rightfully so.
Someone who owes us much more than money.
And then
the radio demon is there.
It's dropped.
What did you just say?
Vox's instant reaction is to absolutely freak out. There is nothing behind those eyes but fear, enrage, and confusion. That's the three things, and that's all there is. Which leads us viewers to think upon watching what has gone on between him and Alastor. Well, there's not enough time to think unless you pause it like I've just done. Let's see what happens next.
And he is with Lucifer's
Twitch. He can't keep his composure in any way. That's a sign of something.
first fucking thing you told me!
Rightfully so, in Vox's case, he lashes out to Val. Because there's clearly something that's happened that's either traumatized him, given him a bit of PTSD, something along those lines. So clearly, and Val knew this when he was saying it in a sinister way that he said it, that it was going to trigger Vox, so he had it coming to him really, didn't he? And upon seeing the man in all of his glory, Vox's instant reaction is to break out into a musical number.
It's been 7 years!
There we go, instant lore bomb there. That is what leads up to the amazing phenomenality of this song. And instantly there's a lore bomb. And this stuff's permanent. It's been clipped, it's been put onto music platforms, it's been shared around. This part of the song where it begins, they're always going to hear within the first few seconds of the song that lore bomb. And it constantly reminds viewers and listeners that there's clearly been some bad blood between these two, and it's been a while since they've seen each other. And the fact that Vox's instant reaction is this anger, there's clearly some serious intrigue going on. The reason I include this bit is because it's part of the song. I know it's a lore thing, but it is a part of the song because it's how it begins and how it sets off that keeps everyone going and keeps everyone wanting to stay for more. Stayed gone, stay for more. But yeah, that's all I have to say for this segment.
You still pissed? He almost beat you that time.
And then Val teases him. That's quite in his character, and I think that's amazing that they added that because it can always crack you up every time you're listening to it. This part of the song isn't as interesting, to be fair, and I'm still going through it like I'm some form of FBI agent looking for every intricate detail.
Things have changed a lot since he left town.
And that's another lore bomb because it shows that Vox himself has taken over and has become more prominent while Al's been gone, so it has been his benefit. So not only is he mad at Al for whatever happened before he left, he's also mad for him coming back because he had so much improvement and so much growth, not even financially, mentally even, without all that baggage to hold, that he's got this arch nemesis out there who's constantly trying to kill him. Obviously, Al's not like that anymore, but it's quite possible that back before, Al was very much against Vox, and he might have even feared Vox at some point, which is cool to think about.
I gotta send a message of who's really in charge of things now.
And that's even more as to what I just said. He has grown over this time without Al, and he wants to prove to him that it's not all him anymore, that he's been banished to irrelevancy. Vox has risen up.
Welcome home.
And I also love that shot. That shot is so cool, where it's his silhouette. You only see it for a few seconds, and I am going to be including not just the song itself and the lyrics, but also the visuals, because they tie into the rivalry aspect just as much. This shows Vox as this giant mastermind, even just for a few seconds when it's on screen. Well, half a second, really. A few frames. It frames him, as this giant, overwhelming, overbearing person with a lot of power. If you were to show that to someone completely unknowing of the show and the characters, instantly they would know that this would be a villain, one thing, and two, very powerful, which it seems that Vox is, but he doesn't really flaunt or show his power as much. He shows his influence and boasts about how good he is and how much power he has, but he never shows it, which makes me think that he may be a little scared. And this shot as well, we see all these TVs further cementing how much power and influence he has to be able to afford such a facility. It's not even like an office building, it's not like a studio, it's a full-on military-grade facility in hell. No one has enough room for that in a standard office. This is something far beyond that.
You wish that you'd stayed gone.
And then here we have the motivations of the song. It's to show Alastor his power, which he said before, show he's in charge now, and also to make sure that he stays gone, and he's gonna be gone forever, hopefully, in Vox's eyes. He wants him gone. I also love this shot where he's powering up, because it shows that with the push of a button and the utter of a phrase, he has everything powered up and everything powered down. He can control 90% of hell, because everyone is using his technology, and anyone who tries to rise up, like maybe a Samsung in the hellish world, a Samsung-esque product, just like the beef they have with Apple in real-life competitivism, but in a completely different way, because Vox is very keen on destroying anyone who could rise up against him. He's much like, which makes me think, because people say that if Adam comes back as a demon, he will join the V's, and I think that will very much suit him, because both of them, Adam doesn't want people to rise up against where he's from, and him in general, and he also just loves to torment, and guess what? Vox doesn't want people rising up against him. He doesn't want any competitors, just like Adam, and he's also very fond of torment. How about that? And then you see his team and all of the people he has, all the strings that he can pull, because he's instantly on the biggest news station in all of hell, spitting
We're discussing a certain
about this guy. And this is where the rivalry stuff comes in. This is why that essence, that aura is captured so well. It pops off, guns blazing, bursts in, and it's telling you exactly what it wants to tell you.
Did anybody miss him? Did anybody notice? More on tonight's program.
He's already insulting him. People know who he is. A lot of people do. The majority, in fact. And telling them, this younger guy, me, you know, Vox, me, this younger guy is so much better than this old-timey crap that you've been listening to for decades at this point, that you're very loyal with, and you might have some of your soul connected to. Completely out the window. He is irrelevant. He's back, but not for long. He will not stay. That's what he wants to tell everyone.
Oh, the radio demon is back in town. Why is he hanging around? What does that mean for your family?
So there we go. He's telling people, he's asking the rhetorical question of, what does that mean for your family? Which people don't really have families in hell, but it applies to the people in general. He's asking that question to kind of get to them. It's not like, I don't like this guy, stay away from him because I said so. It's like, what is Alastor going to do to you? What changes is he going to make to your life now he's back? How will it affect you? And that's what's connecting to the audience. He knows, despite how much of an arrogant, petty piece of crap that he is, he still knows how to influence and manipulate and persuade.
He's a loser, a fossil, and I don't mean to sound hostile, but the demon is a coward.
So he just outright says it, right? He's a coward, he's a fossil. There's no reason to follow him anymore because he's irrelevant and he won't make any changes, or as much as I'm making changes to your guys' lives by doing this entertainment thing and bringing you more entertainment than he ever will, because I'm visual, which is what he says now.
What visual? He's barely audible. Stop giving him the time of day. Don't listen to a word he'd say. I hope he had a nice vacay, but he should have stayed away.
So he gets up close and personal now. Even though it's just a bunch of TVs, he's putting his face directly into the screen and telling them, listen, I don't like him, neither should you. Listen now, or else. And there's none of that. He never says that, does he? He never says, listen to me, or else. He never says something's gonna happen. And quite frankly, he never will do anything because he relies solely on his audience. But he's indirectly and subliminally giving them this fear of what will happen if I don't listen to Vox. Will my entertainment be taken away? Will he find me? What will happen? And it gives that intrigue. It makes people persuaded and more intrigued and reeled in by his view.
While he hid in
And then we can instantly see that he doesn't care. Alastor does not care about this guy, really. And that face there is some annoyance, maybe a bit of pity on Vox with that smile and that expression. He's like, oh no, not this again. He doesn't care per se, but he does have an opinion on it, which is, not this guy again. What is he doing? He's not going to get to me. And then he just walks off and closes his eyes and fixes his smile back where it was and just moves on like nothing happened.
Now his medium is getting...
And I also love the imagery here. Though it is a small thing, and there's no doubt in my mind that Vox didn't come up with that himself. Someone definitely wrote this joke for him and said, how about you get a deer and take it out of the oven? But it's still great to see, isn't it? Dissecting this, literally dissecting this, he's showing everyone that this red, yellow-eyed, smile's broken, by the way, because there's no jaw in it, so he can't smile. Antlered being, deer, quite frankly, is dead. He's cooked, basically, as well. That's a very recent slang term, but it applies, doesn't it? He's cooked. So that's also good to know. And this symbolizes Al, doesn't it? Every single part of that deer head applies to him, except there is no smile, which is symbolic, as he's implying that he's going to wipe the smile off Al's face, just like Adam says. Ooh, that's also a thing. But I'm not going to go over that right now because I already have in some detail before. It's just amazing to see that something so small, so insignificant, has so much value, which is mainly where you find the most value, in the small things, right? There's nothing better than the rush of a 2-minute ride on a roller coaster coaster than there is in a roller coaster that is 10 minutes long or even 5 minutes long. The shorter the experience is, the more dopamine that you have and the more it lasts throughout the experience and doesn't have a chance to die down. That's why short fuses of dopamine are so popular in society, right? Watching television as well is a form of quick dopamine, and it's not something that people are willing to put a lot of effort into. Like other things such as exercise that have long-term benefits that are miles better than the benefits of short-term things, but people strive for that short burst than they do for the long-term effects. It's very symbolic. I enjoy it.
Been better since he split. Where's he been? Who gives a shit?
So he's had that little crack there, isn't it? He's just trying to get his point across so much, and he already has. He's just repeating the same things at this point, and he's noticing it in his mind subconsciously. In his mind, he's like, I'm repeating the same thing, but I've got nothing else to say. I just need to keep stressing the same statement and the same fact, in quotes, and people will hopefully listen to me. As much as he knows how to manipulate, sometimes he can't. Just like when he couldn't manipulate when all the press was in front of him, so he just hypnotized them all into forgetting things and trust us with your safety is what he says. He's hypnotizing people when he doesn't have something to argue against. Just like how Pentious reacts with a hypnotism power that he does to Angel to get him off him when he's in a vulnerable position. This is what Vox is doing now. He's just repeating the same thing over and over. If all things go wrong, he probably would have if he hadn't short-circuited, tried to manipulate and hypnotize using his powers because he's at that weak disadvantage now.
Salutations! Good to be back.
And then he pops in, and the nonchalant, absolute calmness of this man is admirable to many. There's no comparison between these two. If you were to put them in the same room and discuss which one was better, by looks alone, Alastor wins by a landslide. There isn't even a competition. There isn't even a comparison. He's just actively better because of the way that he controls himself, the way that he has self-discipline, the way that he dresses, and the way that he stands tall. Vox does that to the very minimum. Just having a frown on his face or a neutral look on his face gives the wrong memo. But Al's always got this smile where you're constantly intrigued, which makes him seem stronger as an individual. And that is quite frankly what he is. He's stronger, both physically and mentally, though behind the scenes he has got serious issues, but it takes honestly a lot to keep yourself conservative like that and not tell anyone and just put on that smile, that mask, which is what many people do, including Angel, and people in real life do that. Al's mask seems to be part of his personality, just like Angel's flamboyancy is in this show as a whole, just to name something related. Look around, there's people everywhere with masks on. No one is truly themselves, not until they're about 50. They're constantly trying to impress. Who I might add? I don't know.
Yes, I know it's been a while since someone with style treated hell to a broadcast. Sinners rejoice!
So instead of opening, slagging off, and overwhelming listeners with information, he just pops off saying what he wants to say. It's not too much, it's not too little. He's not stressing the same thing. All he's saying is, I'm better. Not Vox is bad. Like, Vox's opening line was, well, top of the hour, but it was also immediately at Alastor. Whereas Alastor is dragging attention away from Vox, using simply his voice and his mannerisms to tell people, I'm better, but not in a comparison, just I am this, I am that, you are lucky to have me back, which makes all these sinners turn to look. And then Al pops out with the actual call out.
Instead of a clout-chasing, mediocre video podcast.
Al's just teasing him. Vox was trying to get a point across, and Vox was trying to upset him. Al's just teasing. And the product of teasing and the outcome you want to have is an upset person on the other end, isn't it? You want to tease the person so that they have a reaction. But they're not exactly aligned, are they? Vox wants to downplay Alastor, push himself up into the primary position, and make Alastor mad. Alastor wants to tell everyone how good he is and tease Vox. He doesn't want people to take every word that he says. He wants people to take what he emphasizes, which is I'm good. All the other stuff, the insults of Vox, are directed at Vox. They're not directed at Vox for everyone to see and hear. They're simply for him to make him angry, which then shows everyone else that this guy Vox is not a good example of someone you should be following because of how easily angered he is.
Splitting between this fat and that is nothing working.
So Vox is actively trying to get rid of Alastor, and all Al's doing is keeping it cool and adapting to the environment. Like, he goes from red to blue and blue to red, and he doesn't even change. And I know it's just a visual thing for the actual song, but it just shows how Vox is trying to push him out in many different ways, trying to push him left, trying to push him right, trying to push him back and forwards. Any way that he can get Al away from his audience, he's trying to do it. And all Al's doing is keeping his cool and adapting to where he's being pushed away to, and just being himself and hoping that all the audience behind him just goes along with with him. Vox pushes him right. Al keeps his cool and just keeps spitting over there, spitting his facts, I might add, and just hoping and assuming that everyone behind him will follow, which they do. Whereas Vox actively has to keep them on a leash and drag them with him wherever he's pushed to. If he's pushed out by Al, he has to bring everyone else with him, which just shows the parallel between the two.
He's the shit that comes before that.
And that's just the most chill smile. Though it's not a genuine smile, there is still some chillness in that. He's not affected, or he doesn't seem affected for the audience, which can't actually see him, but the audience is us in this manner watching a show about them appealing to an audience. It's weird. But you see every bit of Vox from all the different segments, which are just him, aren't they? They're just copies of him on the visual screen. They are meant for us and for his viewers as a way to show how much more powerful he is and how he can just clone himself and show up anywhere on any TV, on any device. They're not genuine clones. They're just copy and pasted into the action, into the shot as a way to overwhelm, but it doesn't work for Al.
Is Vox as strong as he purports, or is it based on his support?
Now it's just Alastor calling out Vox directly, but also trying to appeal now, right? Before it was about all the stuff that I said before, but now it is about making them question Vox. Not making them hate him, making them question, why do I watch him? Why do I watch his talk shows? Why am I interested in Vox and what he's doing? Is he really only as powerful as he is because of the other people around him, his environment, maybe where he grew up, where he was found in hell, the knowledge he had, obviously his human life contributed to the knowledge he had when he got down there? That just makes a lot of people think, and it can rile up controversy, and Al will just F off, quite frankly, to somewhere else that doesn't contain him. Not because he's afraid of the backlash, but because he doesn't care. The thing is, everything that Al says has value. Same with Vox in some scenarios, but a lot of the time he's just repeating the same stuff to get a point across, and eventually, too much of something is nothing. It doesn't mean anything anymore. Just like how if everyone had one element of a currency, it would be worth nothing, because everyone has it. Just like everyone breathes and everyone has 2 lungs. If we all had 1 lung and some people were born with 2 lungs, they're a lot more valuable, because they're the outliers.
He'd be powerless without the other me.
And that's flattering them too as well, which brings them onto his side a bit more, like, oh, shut up, you. And then Vox's instant reaction is complete and utter annoyance and frustration, which just shows more weakness.
Please.
And here's the sugar on the cream. He asked me to join his team.
And then there's that reveal that Vox was interested in Alastor in a friendly way, a romantic way anyway, but such a way that he was considering having him around every single day, just like how he sees Val and Velvet every day. And Vox tries to cover that up. It was very embarrassing for him, and it's clearly a part of his life, of his demon life, that he doesn't want to go back to. He's afraid to go back into that situation because he doesn't want people to know he was in such a position at such a point in his career, where he would ask someone much more powerful than him, someone with much more influence at the time, oh, please, showing a bit of weakness. And if the people of hell found that out, they'd be like, oh, he's weak because he had to ask the big boys for help, right? When he was little. So now he's trying to cover it up.
I said no, and now he's pissy. That's the tea.
Covering up again and, you know, short-circuiting, getting a bit mad. So mad, in fact, that he starts to self-destruct. But Al is totally loving this. I feel like this is where his genuine smile's creeping in, because he's loving the torment. Al laughs at torment, just like he did when he was beating up Pentious. Sadistic laughs are still genuine laughs when it comes to a psychopath, because they're so far gone, and they've been putting that mask on for so long that it becomes them, and there is no mask to drop. And that's where it comes to with Al. Until he was on the verge of death when that mask started to slip. Other than that, there isn't really a mask left with Alastor anymore. He is just embodying the mask, so much so that that's just him. And if you took the mask off him, he wouldn't be anything. If you were to take the mask off Al, you would just be taking him and his personality away from him, like ripping someone of everything they're known for.
Tiny prick. I'll show you suffering.
More of the rage from Vox and the pettiness, and showing how he is not enjoying the situation and he doesn't like how it's unfolding, and it's instantly just regretting his decision to call Al out. And Al himself, that's another story. He's completely the opposite. He's enjoying the torment, as I said.
Buffering.
I'll destroy you.
I'm afraid you've lost your signal.
And there it is. He powered down Vox without any form of physical contact, of direct abuse. He just insinuated certain things and called Vox out directly on certain other aspects. And that's all it took for him to break down, self-destruct, be powered down, ending in this wonderful view of hell where there's nothing left but Alastor. The only thing with light, with substance, the shining light, the main attraction, being Al now. The tension builds. This is what's great. The tension is building.
Let's be
And then before he even transforms or anything, just that leading up to it shows his business. He means business, and he is absolutely ready to throw hands. Verbally and physically and mentally.
I'm gonna make you
And you can see that this isn't frustration. No, this is not frustration. This isn't madness. He's not showing his power in a fear sense where he has to appear strong when he's weak. He's doing this for the fun of it. He's flaunting on his own where no one can see him. People can't get him on camera. People can't see inside that radio tower. It's so far away. People don't have binoculars on hand. Telescopes. He's doing this for his own amusement. He doesn't have a mirror with him. He's there and he's showing his true form, how powerful he can get in order to, in a way, validate himself, but also prove to himself that he's still got it.
Tune on in.
And he puts down the staff. There's no need for it anymore. That's where all his power resides, really, in that staff. He just drops it. He knows he can handle this on his own without any outside interference. He doesn't need an external force.
Your status quo.
He's just himself.
Its race is run.
And he shows and he reprises and completely flips on its head what Vox said, that he's going to wish that he stayed gone. Well, Al is now saying, Vox is saying that he's going to make him wish that he stayed gone, and he's going to make him stay gone. But now Al's saying, no, you're going to wish that I'd stayed gone. I'm not going to make you go away. I'm just going to show how powerful I am in myself, that it forces you without any of my interference directly to piss off, because I am the boss.
Oh,
And this, that is the radio dial, which can also symbolize a clock in a way, because it's ticking. I know it is for audio and things like that on an actual radio, and it's part of his aesthetic. But the fact that they zoomed in on it and showed it in such prominence, and also the things going from his smile there, his jaw, the blood showing how bloodthirsty he is, that combined with this ticking of the eyes symbolizing a clock, it shows that your time is done now. I'm counting down the days until I kill you. Permanently gone into the ashes to be forgotten. That's what Al's telling him now. From bottom to top, slowly as you rise up, if you were to go from the bottom of the head to the top of the face, it would start with I'm bloodthirsty and I'm counting down. Those two things connotate to absolute enrage, fear, violence, and death. That's what makes him such an anomaly, and what makes this song so amazing. Well, I guess that's it then. That was short, or was it? How short was it? Let me know. Oh, I'll know when I'm editing this. Hope you guys enjoyed. Click a video on screen that best suits you. The one on the right was picked by YouTube just for you, and the one on the left is my most recent video. Let me know if you enjoy analysis videos, because I sure do. I've had an absolute blast recording this, to be honest. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. Stay positive. Goodbye.